Let's talk about Pawn on the Zen, because 19th game of the season, first time he's on a melee champion. This is a nice wraparound from Score, though.
Score coming in right on the backside of Faker, has that red buff to slow him up. They're going to dash through. Faker doesn't have the flash, but Score is going to cut him off. Pawn getting exhausted now. Score just going to go ahead and flash in. That's going to be the kill. First blood going over to Pawn on Zed. Smite. Good smoke screen. Just going to zone Peanut Bat. Pawn comes over very aggressively. Throws down the Living Shadow. Throws down the Ignite and the Death Mark. Can he come up with a kill, though? The shield comes out from Faker. The pop hits, but it's just not enough to take him out. Pawn goes low. Faker throws down.
More comfortable.
Well, Faker out of mana, throws the shield on himself. Does not have flash. They cut him off at the end of the line. Smeb wraps around from the backside.
Get around, but you have to imagine the top turret's not long for the world.
This control ward didn't get cleared out in the brush, so he had some idea that Pawn had retreated back. Speaking of Pawn, goes in on a Faker. The shockwave does connect. He has a Death Mark coming through. Doesn't do nearly as much damage as you would expect yet. But the Ash Arrow comes out. Faker still gets clipped. Flash forward from Wolf with the Ebb and Flow. Comes up with the heal to keep Faker alive, at least for now. Smeb comes into the backside, has the Flame Spitter, helps take him out as Pawn. Claims the killing blow, and a second one goes over to KT Rolster.
Rotational play from KT is the reason they play is no tank comms, but let's go through it again and how this works. So clearly no kill pressure for Pawn on the ult, and even with Ignite, he wasn't getting a lot of health done. But Ash is walking down, spotted out, and Faker's got nowhere to juke. Sure, he tries to juke forwards, but that's not enough. And then the turnaround comes, but crucially, Ezreal is not there, and Smeb, he ults to stop the terrain from being a place to disengage. So while he doesn't get any pressure on the Nautilus, and certainly that will only be a matter of time as bot lane.
Oh, Pawn goes in, bang, there's just no way. Ignite comes through, they do have the Ebb and Flow. Pop doesn't do enough. Actually, he does make it out alive, but it's like Mooney might not be able to say the same. The red buff slowing him up. Electro Harpoon doesn't connect. Good flash away from Bang at the last second to get out of range of that Ash Arrow.
Although we can see Nami is going to walk up.
Could just kill Wolf. And go ahead, jumps in. Doesn't even use the Death Mark. Might still have the kill. Has to use it right at the last second. Does get it. They're waiting for him to snap back. They're ready for this one. Peanut's got the bush hops, the flash.
He looks for CS in the side lane. It's a big problem.
Or can he find another steal? The answer is going to be yes. Now maybe looking for a bit more. Does have collateral damage up in a second. Goes forward looking for Peanut. A couple more hits would do it.
From the Zed, but that itemization doesn't exist. Now he needs Wolf, exhaust, everything he can get. And speaking of Wolf.
Yep. Electro Harpoons with the overheat doing quite a bit of damage. Score comes up with a kill collateral.
Yeah, very difficult to DPS down Nautilus. Ninja does so much work. Triple Ninja.
Mana flashes away from the dredge line and away from Peanut simultaneously. Still gets popped up by that depth charge. So he might go down. No, the shield comes in. Heal as well from depth, keeping him alive over the wall. Smeb gets jumped on, throws down the equalizer straight into the zone. Is it enough to keep him alive? Yes, it is. The Ash Arrow comes out, locks up Wolf. He's going to go down. 3 members of SK Telecom just get ripped right off of Summoner's Rift by KT Rolster.
Wave clear. The Zed has answered the Ezreal pick that caused him so much struggle in game 1. It all started from Mata getting caught.
I mean, that was such a good flash, too, because not only just dodging out on Peanut, which is what he was trying to do, but he dodges the dredge line.
Smeb has 1 second to use the equalizer or he's dead. So he has to ult and Zhonya's. And Peanut has to leave the fight, wants to fight and brush, but has to leave completely. Smeb amazingly stays alive. They can give kills to whoever they want on the backside. They take turrets as well.
Very well could net themselves for that. Faker just trying to spend his time getting some damage in on the turret. Score goes low, throws out the collateral damage. Bang has the flash away, but Death follows through with his own. Red carpet laid out by Smeb, comes up with the killing.
I mean, they get a Scarango, but that's still something, right?
Yeah, they burn out the cooldown. It's very cheeky by Pawn. Red carpet thrown out for Peanut, getting burned away at. Down to just about half HP. The Leandri's doing so much work. Meanwhile, Smeb juking away from the dredge line. Hootie connects onto the wall. Now Pawn goes down onto Bang. Death Mark's there, and he gets taken out. Kill coming through for the Zed. A lot of poke eliminated from the side of SK Telecom. They're going to go ahead and work their way right back over to this Baron where they will start it up.
And you see in that fight why it was so important that they took the early objectives, because Orianna is never grouped with a front line in front of her to put the ball, to cancel out the death mark. Faker has been out of position because it's very hard to have position. We hear an ultimate pop and we see a turn.
Yeah, dredge line coming through. Big
equalizer!
Big shockwave comes through. Faker just absolutely devastates the ranks of KT Rolster. A triple kill for him. Pawn trying to get out with his life, but it just doesn't look very likely. And good God, off the backside of the Baron, SKT blow the game wide open. Hootie, he lands the dredge line. Pawn dead to rights will go down. That's an ace for SK Telecom T1.
That right there is the 4000 ELO shockwave. That is why Faker is the ultimate game breaker. They cancel out the Baron on every member. Oh, it looked so sweet for KT. They thought they could get the turn, and then it all lined up for Faker. Look at this Wombo. He'd been farmed up. He hadn't got to the fights, but that was the turn of all turns for SK Telecom.
KT's mental state. If that doesn't, I don't know what else will. We'll see if a teleport can have some effect. Huni comes in from the sidelines, gets the dredge line in on to score. He quick draws in just for the reload, not even trying to get over the wall. Def gets popped up yet again, has to flash over towards the tier 2. Another firing back. Huni gets locked down. The redemption heal comes through, but it's not enough to save his life.
So a bit of chunk coming onto this turret, but no more.
Yeah, popping the Youmu's, trying to get as many hits in as he can. Knocks it down to about half HP.
Mid lane though.
Very long time for that to regen. Peanut getting jumped on. Big flame spitter coming through from Smith. They're going to go ahead. Turn away, be happy with the turret. Maybe get the inhib if they can. Might be a little bit too risky. Is now Score getting jumped on by Bang, trying to make it out with his life. Pawn coming in to try to back him up. He will die, but Pawn goes in. Deathmark comes down. Can they save his life? He jumps to the back line with the arcane shift. The Deathmark will not kill him. Shockwave connects. Smab very nicely timed Zonius to keep himself alive, but the bullet comes through. Faker, can he follow up with yet another kill? There it is. The auto attack is enough to take out the Rumble. 2 members dead. Pawn effectively out of the fight.
Pushing or fighting around the Baron is what they need.
Well, Faker gets a lot of damage onto Pawn. He goes in with the death mark, just has to dash away.
Value, no setup CC this time. Now, if they come through a choke, you'll see what happens. They turn onto Baron.
I mean, they turn on to Baron. Ana gets caught by that shockwave. Faker goes straight into the zone. He has Peanut getting rooted down. Pawn comes over the wall looking for a kill. Can he find it? Dashes onto Peanut with a death mark in the back line. Looks like he might just get the pop. Heal comes through, but it's just not going to be enough to keep him alive. Line connects onto Pawn. Meanwhile, Faker goes down as Smeb burns right through him. Pawn taking the blast cone for a ride. Will be able to make it out with his life.
In terms of where they fought, because look, they fight around a choke. So hard to get teams to opt into fights around chokes. But one of the few remaining. Zonius means that Peanut is the one that hits the arrow. Multiple ticks of the equalizer onto both Peanut and Faker. Both of them go down, but crucially, an answering kill from Bang. No Baron picked up for KT Rolster, and no real way to advance up the map, but Faker's still dead, so they're trying the Baron.
He's dead for 5 seconds. Won't be able to join in with this one. Redemption coming down to keep KT healthy. When he comes forward, the Baron goes down, goes over to score. Can they make it out with a buff this time around? We're going to find out. Smeb goes into the Zonias with a Flame Spitter up. Get a whole lot of damage done to Huni, but now he's just all on his lonesome, stuck on an island with KT Rolster.
Equalizer back up.
And they cannibalize him. Peanut trying to make it out of here. Dashes in, but he just pays for it with his life. Depth picks up the kill. 2 more.
This is inevitable. This should be turret falling. There it is.
They get it. And they transition that into another inhib. You can see just how much damage Depth is doing every single shot. Redemption thrown down to get the heal. That doesn't gain too much, but still the hunt's enough to zone them back at least for now, but the inhib still falls. Pawn getting the top one down to about half HP, and KT can just start with his full court press. Super Creep's going to be crashing in pretty much every single wave. Bang gets jumped on, takes a lot of damage. Will not go down. The collateral not enough to finish him off. The heal comes through and keep him up.
Equalizer just to get Faker away from the turrets. They just want to end this game.
That might just be the end of this one. You can see the first turret goes down. Huni pushing forward, trying to find something. Shockwave comes in, but only finds Score. He gets popped up by the bubble. Pawn going into the back line. Will get his Guardian Angel pop, but he's just keeping the rest of SK Telecom busy while they shatter those Nexus turrets. Now Nexus is exposed. Smeb coming back in with the TP. A couple more shots on that Nexus, and I think they've done it. Here we go. Get a last few kills at the end as they kill Peanut. The Nexus crumbles, and we're going to game 3.
This series is making us believers, first of SK Telecom and their ability in big matches. Peanut finally getting over the monkey on his back when it came to beating an ex-Rox Tiger. And then KT, they're happy with their draft. They say, okay, we misplayed in game 1. We can do this. It's not Kongdu Monster. It's not a team we can run over. We can execute no-tank comps against the best, and they do in game 2. One big mistake that put them behind for just a moment in terms of tempo, but otherwise, flawless execution of this split-pushing comp. The Zed, a masterstroke to completely trivialize Bang. Bang was MVP of game 1 on the Ezreal. Got it again, got through the laning phase, but the moment 1-3-1 started, Bang had no itemization to be able to stand up to Zed, required multiple people in his lane, and this is the sweetest series I could ever ask for.
What play coming out of KT Rolster. And a bit bittersweet there for SK Telecom. Seemed like they might have finally had the massive turnaround, but the gold lead was still there for KT.
Get a highlight clip. They'll get a highlight clip that'll last a long time. What a shockwave it was from Faker.
Yeah, you take that one without context and it looks amazing.
That was the only highlight for SKT that game. They will run around, great teleports from Smeb. Huni ran around the map especially. as is always the case, 10 super players, someone's always going to have to live up their performance for the last game. And I feel like we're no closer to knowing who's going to exit this first telecom war as the victor.
Yep. For Huni, feel like the TP is something that are going to have to be worked on between now and the next game. So he's got a couple minutes to talk to Coma, get their heads together and see what they can do. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we'll have our third and final game of the telecom war, so don't go anywhere.